once I heard that it was the lady that actually lived in the same place, the same area, it just made me break down really bad. I just really want to tell her why. Why did you do that to her?
Why? The question we're all asking. Members of the Tracy, California community outraged that Melissa Huckabee, a trusted Sunday school teacher and mother of a 5-year-old girl, could be charged with the rape and murder of beautiful 8-year-old Sandra Cantu, who played with her own daughter. They were playmates. I am back with my expert panel, and I understand, Bob Moffat, you have been checking out the very latest on the entombment, and you have an update for us.
NBC Bay Area has reported that Sandra was entombed in a pink casket 2 days ago, to answer your previous question.
So as opposed to being buried underneath the ground, she was put in some sort of a crypt at a mausoleum?
Correct.
Okay. Steve Cardian, criminal investigator, what about this claim by the defense that they have to get at this body and exhume it immediately because it's deteriorating as we speak, and that if they don't get that, that could be prejudicial to her defense?
It's likely that in the state that the body is prepared, it's not deteriorating by the day. And as sad as it is, and as unfortunate as it is, I believe the judge will eventually grant that request for a second autopsy.
Yeah, but eventually, I mean, they're not meeting till next Friday. Should he appeal?
Make motion to have that sooner?
Yeah.
Yes. It would be in his best benefit to get that done soon and quickly, but the body is preserved. The body is not deteriorating.
Drew Findling, if he's saying, well, every passing second counts, and then he just waits for the hearing next Friday, he's kind of undermining his own argument. But if he were to appeal immediately to an appeals court and say, I need to exhume that body, he might win.
Well, first of all, every day that passes is a line of questioning from the prosecution down the road for the state's witness to the defense's witness that, oh, you waited 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month to do your examination. So it's going to come back in the defense's face. So they've got to move for it to be quickly. They've got to move every day and push every day for a decision to be made. There's not much for the judge to decide on this. He just needs to issue an order and get on with it.
Or, Jane, it could work in the defense's favor as well, because down the road before trial, if the defense tries to make a motion to suppress the evidence of the sexual assault and say, look, we had an opportunity, you didn't give it to us to do a second exhumation and a second autopsy, then that evidence might get suppressed and thrown out. That would work to the defense's behalf.
All right, so many issues to cover here. Melissa Huckabee reportedly alleges 2 men that she had relationships with abused her. Her ex-husband, who you met a little while ago, who adamantly denies those claims, and another man she claims threatened to kill her. And now police say Huckabee more recently had a relationship with this man, Christian St. Clair, who has been described by court records as abusive and alcoholic and is a repeat offender of domestic violence laws, allegedly. He lives in the same mobile home park as both Melissa and the precious little victim, Sandra. Police say St. Clair is not a suspect. They are not looking to make any more arrests in Sandra's murder. But, Jennifer Herstein, as a psychologist, what do you make of her history with men, given that this is a crime of a sexual nature?
It's so interesting. I don't know. It's hard to really tease it apart, Jane, because the fact is that her domestic violence history is going to keep her in relationships that are abusive. There's no guarantee that that's going to then transfer to her daughter or to Sandra. So we can't necessarily say that one definitely begets the other, but her choices in men will definitely impact each other.
There have been indications from psychologists that, statistically speaking, if in fact, and we don't know that this woman's guilty, she hasn't even issued a plea.
Right.
But if in fact this is true, and police are right, and she did it, that she, statistically speaking, is likely to have been sexually abused as a child herself. That's statistically. So if a woman is sexually abused as a child, is she likely to grow up and have abusive relationships with men in her adult life? In other words, is this all tracking into the same story?
It's definitely possible. There is definitely a link that brings in over time that and abuse gets perpetuated down, and so it's definitely likely that there could be some connection to whatever happened to her as a child.
Jane, I'd have to say, though, that the only relevancy of this is if, in fact, this is a death penalty case and there's a sentencing, it could be used in mitigation to try to keep her alive. But other than that, really the only thing that I see relevant from a mental illness standpoint is if she tried this attempted suicide by swallowing these blades. And of course, we know that sometimes suicides to get attention. You know, another way to get attention, unfortunately, really unfortunately in our society, is kill a little kid. because right now you become a superstar in a weird psychotic sense. Look at Casey Anthony. I guarantee you she's one of the 10 most recognizable faces in America right now.
Well,
and everybody involved in the Cummings case, and it's tragic.
Drew, you are absolutely right, and I think that's part of the sickness in our society, where we are living in a society that is completely obsessed with violence, and we use it for entertainment, and we use it for information, and then we wonder why violence occurs in real life. I absolutely agree with you. In a shocking twist, the same day Huckabee was charged with murder, rape, and kidnapping, in the same courthouse, another trusted member of the Tracy community was in court. You won't believe this. This man, Jesse Laurenti, a substitute teacher at the Tracy Elementary School for 5 years, was in court facing charges he molested 12 girls at the school. He pleaded not guilty to 10 felony charges of lewd acts with a child, 3 misdemeanor child molestation charges, and 1 count of possession of child porn. Another blow to the Tracy community. So, Jonna Spilbor, the police have said there were no other suspect in Sandra's case, but could this provide the defense with another person to point the finger at in their defense case?
You bet. And why? In a case that is not a slam dunk, and the case against Huckabee is certainly not. We have a little bit of circumstantial evidence right now, and that's it. Why did the police stop looking? She very well may present a third-party culpability defense in that some other person could have done it, or maybe somebody assisted her, and for the police to stop at her right now is ludicrous.
I seem to remember.
I think maybe because she explained to them, possibly, that she did it and how she did it, and it gave them information only the killer could know.
But
I seem to remember somebody there was somebody flown over from Asia that claimed that they killed John Benet Ramsey, didn't they?
Oh, that's a whole other subject, guys,
Well,
for another day. Thank you, excellent Pat.